Hello friends and welcome to this advanced session of the Terraforms. I already posted a 9-hour video on the Terraforms in which I am covering the basic concept related with the Terraform. But this is something I put in the advanced session, so this is the second video of the advanced series. If you didn't refer my 9-hour video on Terraform for the basic concept in Terraforms, then you can have a look. Okay, so in this video what we are going to cover in this video, the multiple instance of the same provider. So you can see that we are going to create multiple instance same provider, but here is the conditions, but in different region. Sometimes we need to have a same TF file, okay, which creating several resources. So till this video, whatever you seen, I created several instances. So you can see that this is the instance 1, instance 2 means the EC2, the security groups or whatever we created also the VPC, okay, using the Terraform. You can refer my previous video on that, in which I created the private and public subnet, okay, and the route table associated internet gateway, all the things inside this we created the instance, okay. So you can refer that video, but all the things what we have done already in the same region. But while you are working in an organizations, there might be some chances, possibilities, or it could occur that you have these types of requirement that in the same Terraform file some resources you need to create in a different region, okay, region 1, and this is going to be a part of the region 2 in the same. So you are using the same provider, the provider is AWS, okay, and you are creating two instances, but one instance will go to the other region and the second will be go to the next regions, whatever your requirement is. So we are going to discuss these all things in my lab sessions and how we are going to take care of these types of scenario, okay. So now you can see that we have the security groups. I am taking the example of the security groups in this. You can do it for any of the instance, okay. To have make the videos in a simpler way, I taken an example of the security group because it is very easy way we can create in a different reason. Similar way you can create any of the instance, any of the resources, you can say like security groups, RDS instance, any whatever you have the requirement you can create. So you can see the Mumbai region, okay. Here we have several security groups already created. So what we are going to do, this is our multi-provider Terraform file. This is the raw file. So I am going to write some code and trying to execute in the AWS Mumbai region, okay. So our first goal is to create in the Mumbai region, okay. So for that you know that I will create a provider here, okay. This is the provider and I am going to use the AWS. Inside it I am going to define the region, okay, in which region I am going to work. That is Mumbai region, AP South 1. You can see in the details also Mumbai belongs to the AP South 1, okay. And now what we are going to create, I have a requirement to create security groups for the production and the pre-production environment, okay. So I am going to create in both the security groups in the Mumbai region only. So for that I have to create resources. I created the provider and now the resource. This is AWS security group I am creating, and the name, the common name for the Terraform file I am using prod _gp, okay. And similar way I am going to use the same thing. Okay, let me write the name also, then I will copy it. Name will be, this is I am creating for the prod, let's say prod firewall, because this is the security groups which work as a firewall for the instance. You already familiar with these terms. So let me copy it. Okay, so I created two resources. Okay, the resources is of security groups, name is prod, and this one is pre-prod. Okay, and here also I given the name as pre-prod. In which region? In south one. So this is the file in the inside of the folder, so I have to run. Let me save it first. Terraform init. Okay, so it will download the provider plugins. So initializing the provider plugins, and then it's downloading the latest, because I didn't provide any versions related things. If you want to see all the details, you can refer my 9-hour course of the Terraforms, in which I discussed in more details about all these things. Okay, so it will create or download. You can see you can find several folders, means the folders for the providers plugin, and the Terraform state file, the backup file. So all the things you will find here when it's the download gets completed. Okay, so it's depend upon your internet speed. If your internet speed is very fast, then it will take not more than 30 seconds to download. So you can see that its download gets completed, and now I am going to validate the Terraform file. So I have the message of success of Terraform file. So validations part is completed. Now I have to look into the Terraform plan. So what exactly the plan is going to perform. So you can see it going to add two resources. Both of them are security groups, nothing else. Okay, so it's not going to change any resources, not destroy. So this looks good to me. Terraform apply auto approve. So it will create two security groups in the Mumbai region. We are going to verify as well. So it start creating and apply complete. So if I refresh here, you can see that the pre-prod and the prod firewall security groups already get added. Okay, so now I am going to destroy it. It will ask me for the confirmation, because the auto approve that flag I didn't pass. So you can see that both the security groups get removed. Okay, now our requirement is that for prod firewall I have to use Singapore region. Suppose I want to use the Singapore region for this. Okay, so I am going to add the provider, again the AWS, and the region will be, if you don't know the region name, you can see here, because the Singapore have the AP Southeast one. So Singapore AP Southeast one. Okay, so we are going to use the accordingly, because I need this firewall needs to be created in the Singapore region. So AP Southeast 1. So we have two provider, and both of the provider is of AWS. So in this way the Terraform will get confused. Let me show you. Terraform plan. So you can see that it's find the duplicate provider configuration is there. Definitely, because we are using the same provider, but our requirement is to use the same provider, but I want to deploy the resources in different reasons. So AWS have some, you can say, the arguments that you have to use for the multi configurations. So if multi configurations are required, set alias. Okay, so I am going to use it in the AWS. When we have the reason above or below, you can pass alias. Okay, just to differentiate that this is the some other reason. Okay, I used it AWS Singapore. Okay, now if I save it and again run the Terraform plan, so you can see that it don't have any problem. But the problem here is that this is not going to solve our problem. Why? Because we created the two provider, one for the Mumbai region, that is the default one. Okay, so when I apply the changes, both will both resources, the security groups will created in the Mumbai region only, because we didn't make a linking of any of the resources to the Singapore. Okay, but our requirement is that for production security groups, I need it to get deployed into the or created into the Singapore region. For that, I need to use the provider. Okay, and what provider? We have to use first the provider name, AWS dot whatever is the alias name. Okay, just copy it and put it here so that you don't have the typo. Now this is perfectly fine, because this is the default Mumbai region, and whatever is not tagged or linked as a provider while creating the resources, that will go into the default as a Mumbai region. Okay, otherwise which have the provider linking, it will deploy into the AWS region for the Singapore. Okay, now I am going to save it. So currently we don't have any provider. Okay, so now pre-production will get deployed into the Mumbai region, and the Singapore will have the production security groups. This is our requirement that we are going to fulfill. Terraform. So I am not going to see the plan again. I am just apply or to approve. So it's going to add two resources. Pre-production we need to check in the Mumbai region, and production we need to check in the Singapore region. Okay, so I am going to refresh the Mumbai region first to check the pre-productions, and you can find here the pre-productions firewall is there. It's got created. Now check the Singapore one for the security groups, and you can find the productions firewall get created here. In this way you can create any of the resources, and you can play with the different provider also in the same Terraform file. Okay, so hope you like this video. If you didn't subscribe my channel, please do subscribe it. It always motivate me, and share it with your friends as well. I keep on adding the videos on the Kubernetes. Docker will also be the part of my tutorials, so I will come again with the Docker full course. I started Java playlist as well, who are very beginners to the programming language and just want to learn the Java programming language. So you can refer those videos as well. That's it for this video. Have a nice day.